what it is. Okay, so 13, chapter 13 is what we are currently on for the new year. And we are going to be dividing decimals. You already learned the first lesson of chapter 13 back with multiplying decimals. But we're just going to do a quick review of that, and then we'll head into our lesson for today, which isn't difficult. So this will be a good just kind of warm up into decimals. If you remember back before when we were in chapter 12, we learned about multiplying and dividing by powers of 10. All right, there's a difference between powers of 10 and multiples of 10. Multiples of 10 are if you take 10 and you multiply it by 1, by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5, by 6, by 7, by 8, by 9. So the multiples of 10 would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Does that make sense? Multiples of 10, yeah? Easy peasy. Powers of 10 are like 10 to the first power, 10 to the second power, 10 to the third power, 10 to the fourth power. So those are 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, a million, 10 million. Does that make sense? The difference between powers of 10 and multiples of 10. So as a quick review, let me just go over back to, let me see. Here we go. Let's do this quick review. When you divide by powers of 10, it's pretty easy. There's not even any computation in this. All you're doing is if you're dividing by 10, you simply move the decimal point to the left the same number of zeros there are in the power of 10, right? So look here. They just moved it over one place to the left, because there's 1 0. Do you remember this? Is it kind of coming back to you? 35 divided by 100, you're going to move that decimal point from back here, from like 35, the decimal point, even though it looks like it's not there. It is, right? Where are decimal points in whole numbers? At the end, right here. So if you multiply it by 100, all you're doing is you're moving that decimal place over to the left. How many spots? 1. 2 spots. So our new answer is going to be 0.35. Why do we have this 0 here? Michaela?
Because you can't just have a decimal point. You have to have a whole, a number.
Yes, you have to have a number in the 1 spot. So we have to add that 0. And if we divide by 1,000, we move that decimal point over 3 spots. So this is super easy peasy. Even when it's written as an exponent, it's even easier because it tells you how many spots to move over. 7 divided by 10 to the first power means you move it over 1 time. 7 divided by 10 to the second power, you move it over 2 times. 7 divided by 10 to the third power,
3 times.
you move it over 3 times. So let's just look at that quick. If we have 7, it's a whole number. Where's the decimal point right now? Right here. If I move it over 3 times, 1, 2, 3, the decimal point goes over here. Well, what goes in these 2 blank spots right here?
Zeros.
Zeros. So our answer would be 0 and 7 thousandths. All right? That's our quick review of 13-1. Today, we are going to move on to 13-3. We're skipping 2. We're going to move right on to 13-3, which is, let's look at what it's called to get an idea of what we're going to be doing. Estimating, right? So we're not going to be doing actual computation. We're going to estimate decimal quotients. What does quotient mean? We're going to do. Quotient is what kind of problem? It's the answer to what kind of a problem? Division problem. Yes, yes. Okay. Here's the question. They always give us a story problem to start out with. So everybody put your expo markers down. Nobody have anything in your hands. Have your hands free. You don't need your hands to touch anything right now. You just need your brain to think about this. Listen to this story problem. I want to see a raised hand from anyone who thinks they know, not the answer, but how you're going to figure out the answer. Like, oh, I'm going to multiply this by this, or I'm going to subtract. This says a square plot of land. Square means 4 equal sides, right? A square plot of land has a perimeter. What does perimeter mean? This plus this plus this plus this. The perimeter is this many meters, 23.64. So if the perimeter is 23.64, how long is each side? It's giving you all four sides together, right? That's what perimeter means. Perimeter means all four sides added up equal this. How do we figure out what just one of those four sides is? How are we going to figure it out? I don't need the answer, but just how are we going to get there? Rocky?
You've got to do 23.64 divided by 4.
You're exactly right. Take this number of all four together and divide it by 4 to just get one side. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to take 23.64 or 64 hundredths divided by 4. Okay, so here we go. Now we're going to estimate the answer to a decimal problem. All right, how are we going to do that? First thing you do, this is the most important part of today's lesson, so I need all your ears. Do I have all your eyes? I have all your eyes. I have almost all your eyes. I'm going to wait for all your eyes. Thank you. Okay, most important part of this lesson, I don't want you to miss it, is this. First step when you are dividing decimals is to put the decimal point in the answer first. Okay, eyes up here, eyes up here. Got a few of you that are kind of zoning off. You're like post-lunch tiredness. Look up here. See this decimal right here? First step, don't do anything until you move it up to your answer. Got it? First step, move that decimal point up. Now, we're not going to actually do divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down. You know how you would do that? Blah, 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 blah. You get a remainder. No, way too much work for this unit. All we're going for this lesson, all we're going to do is we're going to estimate. How are you going to do that? Let's do it. 4 goes into 2 how many times?
0.
4 goes into 23 how many times?
Oh, wait a minute.
Without going over, remember it has to go in that many times.
7.
So if it goes once, that would be 4, 2 would be 8, 3 would be 12, 4 would be 16, 5 would be 20, 6 would be 24. Too many. It goes in 5 times. Once you write down a non-zero digit, you're done.
Wait a minute.
All you do is put zeros for the rest of the answers.
Wow, that's easy.
Woohoo, right? That just became like one of the easiest lessons ever.
Yeah.
Put the first step, write the decimal point in. Second step, divide until you get to the first non-zero digit and then make the rest zeros. Okay? The first one. Okay, so let's do a couple examples of that and then I'm going to teach you, there's 2 ways to do estimating. That way and one other way. Both are equally as easy, but let's do a few examples of this and then I'll show you the other way, all right? So I'm going to give us a few examples. Let me find an example here. Let's do Let's do 5 goes into 0.244. Okay, what do we think? First step is to do what? Don't do it on your own. Just wait. We're going to do this one together. Hold tight. First step is what? Raise your hand. Oliver. Move the decimal point before you do anything. Now, do your division. Does 5 go into 0?
No.
0 times. 5 goes into 2?
No.
0 times. 5 goes into 24?
Yes. 4 times.
4 times, which is 20. 5 times would be 25. That's too much. 4 times, and then the rest is just 0. So now, when I write my answer, do I need to include this 0?
No.
No, this 0 is just kind of, doesn't necessarily.
What if you do include it? Would that count as wrong?
It would not count as wrong. It just would not count as the most accurate way to represent it. Okay? So there's your answer. I'm going to give you one, and you're going to do it on your whiteboard. I'm going to see how many of you are going to get this right. Here we go. Go ahead and do that one. Flip it over when you're done so I can see. All right, that's correct. Yes, ma'am. Get rid of your extra zeros. You don't need those. get rid of those extra zeros. Okay? But you're right. It's the right answer, Heidi. Just get rid of any excess zeros. Good job. That you don't need. Yes, yes. Get rid of your extra zeros. Yes, yes. Good job. Perfect. Wonderful. Get rid of your extra zeros. You don't need all those. Those are going to be like excess. Yep. Okay, good job. I'm going to give you one more, and then we're going to move on to the other type. So for this one, all right, all eyes up here. I think you got it all right, but let's just go over it. We move the decimal point up. 4 goes into 0 0 times. 4 goes into 8 twice. There's our non-zero digit. The rest becomes zeros. When you go to write your answer, do you need this zero?
No.
Do you need this one?
No.
Do you need this one?
Yes.
Why? Because you always have to have a digit in the one spot. Here we go. Last one before we move on to the other way to estimate. Let's try this one. 4 goes into 0.051. There we go. Show me what you got. Remove all excess zeros. Remove all excess zeros before you flip your board over. Yes, ma'am. Perfect. No. Yes. 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 Do I need a new excel marker? Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Oh, there's too many zeros at the end there. Yes. Good job. Yes, Bo. Yep, you're good. I thought I had it was a 2. I can't quite tell. Yes, Josie, you just don't need that many zeros. So at the end, get rid of any excess zeros. Good job, Michaela. Yes, yes, Lamaria, perfect. Okay, here we go. Doing this together. First thing we do is we move that decimal point. Do you not have one? Okay, you use yours. Make sure you use yours. Okay. Michaela, you don't have one? Okay. You can just use a piece of paper, and that's fine if you want to. You don't have one that's working currently. Here, take this one. Just remember to give it back to me, okay? There you go. All right, ladies and gentle people, look up here. First thing you do is move the decimal up. Does 4 go into 0 how many times?
0.
4 goes into 0 0 how many times?
0.
4 goes into 5.
1.
Once this becomes a 0, which you don't need in your answer, and there's your answer. Okay, put your expo markers down, and now listen to the second way that you are going to estimate decimal quotients, because there's a second way that you need to know. All right, let's go back to our problem. Oh, you can't see it here. Here we go. 4, this is when we were dividing that square plot. That was 23.64 meters, and we were dividing it by 4. Now, the other way to do that is this. Still, the first thing is to what? Move out the decimal. The next thing you're going to do is you are going to find compatible numbers to divide. Why? Because compatible numbers are so easy. Compatible means they go together. Does 4, well, 4 can't go into 2. 4 can't go into 2, so let's put our 0 up. 4 can't go into 2. 4 can go into 23, but what is a compatible number? That makes it really easy. Like, use your multiplication and division facts to say 4 and 23 aren't compatible, but 4 and what number are compatible? Go really easily together. Heidi? 4 and 24. So we're just going to go ahead and change this to 4 goes into 24, which is 6. The rest becomes zeros again. Once we have your first non-zero digit, that's your estimate. The only difference is we changed it to compatible numbers. So in your work, it will tell you either estimate the answer or estimate the answer using compatible numbers. Because guess what? When we estimate the answer to this, the regular way, what did we get? We said 4 goes into 2 0 times, 4 goes into 23 5 times, the rest became zeros. So these answers, watch your directions on your homework. If it says use compatible numbers and you do this, it'll be wrong. If it says just do it regular and you put this, you use compatible numbers, it'll also be wrong. So you have to make sure that you read the directions. What do they want? Compatible numbers or just regular place value? All right? Those are your two ways. Let's try a couple compatible numbers samples. How about this one right here? Let's do go ahead and do that one. Using compatible numbers. You know the first step. Everybody should do that first step. And then from left to right. Compatible numbers. If it goes in, but it doesn't go in evenly, find a number close. Good. Get rid of those extra zeros. Nice job. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, get rid of those extra zeros. Yes, yes, yes. No, no, yes. No. Right idea, but yes. Nope. Remember with estimating, you should only have one digit that's not a zero. Just one digit if you're estimating. So I'm going to do it together up here. Yes, Mateo, that's right. I'm going to do it up here. If you got it wrong, watch closely. Yes, get rid of your extra zeros. All right, look up here. Does 3 go into 0? It does not. Does 3 go into 8? It does, but not evenly. So what's a compatible number? 9. So if we change this to 9, 3 goes into 9 3 times. Leave the rest zeros. Get rid of the zeros. Okay, I'm going to give you one more compatible number sample question, and then we're going to move on. Here's your sample. Let's see how many of you are going to get this right. Okay, no talking. Let's see if we can get this right. I can't quite tell where your decimal is, Mia. I don't think you moved your decimal up. No, let's, nope, nobody's gotten it right so far. Nobody's gotten it right so far. Nope. Nobody's, yes, Rocky, ding, 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 yes. Lamar, I'm sorry, yes, Naomi's gotten it right. Nope, yes, Mia's got it right. Nope, I can't quite see yours, Oliver. 9 doesn't go into 1 twice. 9 goes into 1 0 times, but you're kind of getting there. 9 doesn't go into 19 9 times. Yes. 9 does not go into 19 9 times. 9 times 9 would be 81. No, yes. 9 goes into 1.930 times. No. Okay, let me do this one together. This one's for you guys. I found one to stump you. What's my first step?
Put the decimal up.
Decimal. Does 9 go into 1?
No.
Okay, all eyes up here, especially if you didn't get it right. 9 goes into 1 0 times. Does 9 go into 19? It sure does. And how many times? Let's make it compatible. This is compatible. What are you going to change 19 to that's compatible, yeah? 18. So if you change this to 18, 9 goes into 18 twice. This becomes a 0, but you don't need that 0 for your answer, so it's 0.2. Okay? All right. Good job. Your homework is on the board. It's going to be your workbook, page 220. The good news is I'm going to give you classwork time to finish your homework. However, we are going to take 10 minutes for you to start on your homework, and then I have another project that we are going to work on. But for right now, I would like for you to take a little bit of time so that I can make sure that you know what you're doing. So get out your homework.